school, categorically on the record, you did not racially abuse fellow pupils.
I would never, ever do it in a hurtful or insulting way.
That's not quite the same as not doing it.
It's 49 years ago. It's 49 years ago.
What difference does the time make?
Isn't it? Well, I just entered my teens. Can I remember everything that happened at school? No, I can't. Have I ever been part of an extremist organisation or engaged in direct, unpleasant personal abuse, genuine abuse on that basis? No.
You're not quite, that's very, very caveated. You're not quite ruling this out. The question is, did you ever racially abuse fellow pupils in school?
No.
You've caveated
Not
it
with
with
intent.
a hurtful way.
Not with intent.
What do you mean
have
not with
I ever
intent?
told...
I don't understand what you mean by not with intent. What does that mean?
You wouldn't do.
But what does that mean?
No.
No what?
No. I have never directly really tried to go and hurt anybody.
But you're opening the door there to perhaps you did it without meaning to offend.
Have I said things 50 years ago that you could interpret as being banter in a playground, that you could interpret in the modern light of day in some sort of way? Yes. But isn't it funny?
Okay, so you did say stuff to these people then?
I've never directly racially abused anybody. No.
Again, define directly for me. What do you mean by directly?
By taking it out on an individual on the basis of who they are or what they are. No.
Again, taking it out on somebody is different to saying.
Have I
stuff
ever
to somebody.
misspoken in my life, in my younger days when I was a child? Probably.
So that the people then who've made these allegations,
yeah, they've got good memories, haven't they?
Well, they're telling the truth, are they?
They've got good memories, haven't they?
Are they telling the truth, Mr.
Well,
Farage?
suddenly after 49 years, they seem to have perfect recollection. I would say to you, there is a strong political element to this.
Okay, again, a slightly different answer to the question. Are they telling the truth?
No, they're not telling the truth. There are people who had very different... By the time I was 18, there were people there with very different political views, of course. And they disagreed with them. And, right now, today, you can say one thing in politics and another person takes it and says, that's sexist, that's racist, that's whatever it is. That's what happens, All I can tell you is, by the time I was a grown-up, leaving that school, there was never any question of those things. But did I have disagreements with people? Mm-hmm. Political disagreements, yes.
Let me put it another way. Did you say things to these people that you did not intend to be hurtful or racist, but they took it that way?
I hope not.
So possibly you did then?
I hope I didn't. I'm going to say no, I didn't. I hope I didn't. None of us can be sure of anything we say ever, even today, that somebody else might take to be hurtful. But intentionally, no.
Would you apologise to them?
If they were genuinely hurt, of course.
Okay, so is that an apology? Are you saying sorry to those people?
No, I'm not, because I don't believe I did anything that directly hurt anybody.
But yet they may have felt that.
Well, we're living in that world, aren't we? We're living in that world.
What do you mean living in that world?
Well, I might say
they take offence at racist language.
Look. People can say you can say someone's overweight and make them take serious offence, or you can choose not to say it. I have not done anything. And by the way, you are talking about something in 1977, and nobody has perfect recall of events of half a century ago.
20 people have recalled this, which would suggest there's a good collective memory.
Yeah, which just shows you there's a huge political element to this. It's just nonsense that 20 people could say something like that without it being political in every way.
Yeah, you're not quite ruling out.
I'm not ruling out I didn't misbehave at playgroup when I was 6 or 5.
Well, we're talking about a lot older than this.
Well, I was
you're
13.
Not ruling out either that you said these words.
Oh dear. It's 50 years ago.
I still don't understand the balance of the time.
I have not directly tried to insult anybody.
Again, that caveat directly. So you're almost admitting that you've said these words.
I'm not a vicar. I may have said things last week that someone might have taken offence to. All right.
Did you say things back at school that people took offence to?
Without any shadow of a doubt, and without any shadow of a doubt, I shall say things tonight on this stage that some people will take offence to and will use pejorative terms about. That is actually, in some ways, what open free speech is. Sometimes you say things that people don't like. Have I directly been racist towards people? No, never.
I'm not going to repeat some of the words that have been said, but they were quite specific, and it was very direct. Is that a true recollection then of what was said?
No, I don't believe it is for one moment.
Okay. Laura Ann Jones. The events of last week, was that a lapse of your judgment to take her on board? No,
look, her offence is, compared to what happens in public life and the mistakes that people make in their everyday lives, what she's done is a pretty minor offence. Now, she's been quite harshly punished for it.
She used a racist word, that's hardly minor.
Well, she used a word that colloquially probably was meant in a nice way 20 years ago, but is now...
Well, we're not 20 years ago, we're in...
No, we're not, and she made a mistake, absolutely. Okay.